November 30th, 2024 marks 2 years that I have been on the medication Mounjaro. So let's just talk about my experience. Welcome, my name is Patrice, The.Patrice.Denise. I'm over here living a healthy, sustainable life, one day at a time, one step at a time. Thank you for clicking on this video. If you are new, welcome. If you're not new, thank you again for always supporting and always checking in for me. I greatly appreciate it. So as I continue to document my journey, my health journey, my journey using the medication Mounjaro, my journey to just continue to control, conquer, defeat type 2 diabetes, my journey to just better myself, I want to share with you guys just some information on my journey related to Mounjaro since I have been on it for the past 2 years. Prior to the medication Mounjaro, I was on Ozempic. Many of you know that I switched from Ozempic to Mounjaro right when there was a big shortage of Ozempic around 2022, the end of 2022. I switched from Ozempic to Mounjaro. And that's when I really started documenting my weight loss journey, my health journey, and my journey specifically on the medication Mounjaro. But like I said, I had been on Ozempic prior. And as I sit back and I think about it, I had been on a GLP-1 for over 4 years now. I have been on a GLP-1 medication for over 4 years now. So let's just think about all that entails. A couple things come to mind. GLP-1s are tools to use to help us on our health journey because yes, these medications are great. They're almost to a certain point like miracles in a certain way. I know when I first got on Mounjaro, yes, this is the best thing. It really helps. Mounjaro, other GLP-1s really help to jumpstart your health journey and to get you going in the right direction if you need that extra help, especially as it relates to diabetes and then also as it relates to weight loss because these medications have been specifically approved for weight loss as well. But these medications are tools. They are tools to help us on our health journey, help us along the way. We have to still put in the work. Y'all see me all the time. You know, my life is not perfect. I do have struggles just like you may have struggles. I don't eat everything perfect. I don't always want to go exercise, but I continue to go forth. I continue to push forward. And that's where, like I said, these medications are tools to help us along the way. But thinking about GLP-1s, a lot of people don't know that Ozempic was not the first GLP-1. There are other GLP-1s that have been out there for a long time. Trulicity. Look it up. Trulicity, Byetta, Bydureon. My doctor, he actually was trying to put me on both Byetta and Bydureon when he first wanted me to get on the GLP-1, and then something happened with my insurance, and that's why I got on Ozempic, which I'm grateful to be put on, that I was put on Ozempic because I've heard that Bydureon, if I'm saying that correctly or not, I'm sorry, but it was not or is not, I don't even think I'm not sure if it's still out there, but it is not as effective, they said, as Ozempic. There was also Victoza, and then with Victoza, that was the first one that was also FDA approved to be given as a weight loss drug, and that's where the medication Saxenda. So Victoza is the same as Saxenda, and then Ozempic came. Well, there was another one too, another one called Adalectin. I've never heard of this, but I was Googling GLP-1 medications and this name popped up and I clicked on it and it was like, yeah. So it was approved by the FDA in 2016. And like I said, that name is Adalectin, and I'll put the generic name up there as well. But also, I'm not sure if that one came into a weight loss form or not, but moving on, Ozempic came, and Rybelsus, which is a pill form of Ozempic. Then Ozempic was approved for weight loss in the form of Wegovy, or in the name of Wegovy. And then here we are with Mounjaro, and then that has now been approved for weight loss by the name of Zepbound. So these medications, these GLP-1 medications have been out there for a long time. So some people are, concerned of long-term effects, but these medications have been out there for a long time already. And to me, they have just improved the medications because there are different manufacturers for these medications. I believe they have just improved the medications over time. So back to what I was saying, but prior to Mounjaro, I was on the medication Ozempic. And when I was on the medication Ozempic, I was not documenting my journey. So I don't have a lot of full knowledge about what was going on at that time relating to my weight, relating to what dose I was on. I kind of remember though. I remember that he started me out, of course, on 0.25, of course. And then from there I went to 0.5 of Ozempic. And then I was on that for quite some time. My blood sugars, well, my A1C, and we can just look at that too. My A1C back at that time was as high as a 13. I think it was like 13.4 or something like that. And then that's why he was so gung-ho on putting me on the GLP-1 by Byetta or Bydureon. That didn't work until I went to Ozempic. Titrated from 0.25 all the way up to 1 milligram. And then in November of 2022, I wanted to continue with this journey. I saw some pictures of myself. My A1C was okay. It was at 5.9, I believe, at that time. But I saw some pictures of myself, and I was hearing about how Ozempic at the 2 milligram dosage was really helping people with losing weight. I talked to my provider, and he was going to move me up to 2 milligrams of Ozempic. He did actually move me up to 2 milligrams of Ozempic. I tried to fill the prescription. No pharmacy had it in my area. So I started to do some research as I was looking up. Probably as I was looking up pharmacies. That's probably what happened. I'm not sure. Or probably because I was just looking up information on Ozempic and the higher dosage. I ran across the name Mounjaro and found out that, oh, this medication is helping a lot of people to lose weight. It's also a diabetic medication. So I went to my provider and we discussed the medication. He wasn't too familiar with it, but he said, let's go ahead and give it a try. So I switched to Mounjaro because I think at that time Mounjaro had been out for maybe like 6 months or so. I took my first injection of Mounjaro on November 30th of 2022. I, again, was not planning to document my journey because I had not documented my journey on Ozempic. But I said, you know what? I'm going to document my journey. So the next morning, I took my weight. That was December 1st of 2022. I took my weight, got my weight. So my starting weight was 191.4. That's my documented starting weight on the medication Mounjaro. I had took my first injection of the 2.5 dose that day before, November 30th, and I got my starting weight the day after. But at that point, I was ready to share my story. I was wanting to be held accountable, and that's another thing. Find a support system that will hold you accountable like you guys did with me, and that will be a tremendous help on your journeys. So for my dosage, I started on the 2.5 milligrams, did that for a month. And then after that month or that 4 weeks, I went up to 5 milligrams. And I was on 5 milligrams for the long haul. I was on 5 milligrams for over a year. There was one time that I went to 7.5, and that was around the 6-month mark. And then it was really strong for me. It was really strong for me. The appetite suppression was real. The appetite suppression was real. I didn't want to eat anything. And I know that that's not healthy. At least not for me. That was not healthy. So I went back to 5 milligrams and continued my journey on 5 milligrams. And then I believe it was at a year, I switched over to or went up to 7.5 milligrams. And I've been on 7.5 milligrams ever since. So for a year now, I've been on a 7.5 milligram dose. I've also been, and I'm not a doctor. I always tell this when I say what I'm about to say. I'm not a doctor. I am not a pharmacist. I'm not someone telling you what to do on your journey or telling you what to do with your medication. I'm just sharing my journey and hoping that my experience will maybe help you in some type of way. I am a nurse. I'm a registered nurse. But again, I am not telling you what to do. I'm just sharing my journey. I hope that you would take bits and pieces of everybody that you listen to or that you come in contact with that's on these that type of medications, or that you're doing your research on. I hope that you would just take our information and, just use it to help you, not to dictate what you should do. Okay? But I have been spreading my injections out for the past year now first I started out with doing it every 10 days, and now I'm to the point where I'm doing it every 14 days. And I had never gone higher than 7.5 milligrams of Mounjaro. Weight-wise, like I said, I started out at 191 when I started on Mounjaro. However, when I started on Ozempic, I know, I didn't document it, but I know I was as high as 215, even could be 220. I just was in denial. I hated the scale. I did not want to see that number. Every time I got on the scale, it would make me even more depressed, even more down and out, and even more in denial, because I'm like, no way, that is not my weight. That is not my weight. And then when I started to really wanting to do better for myself, I think that was in maybe 2021. That was in 2021. I was on Ozempic and I was wanting to do a little bit better. I was starting to exercise, starting to eat better. And that's when my A1C came down to a 6. And Ozempic was helping me with my weight loss as well as my A1C. But like I said, my A1C was as high as 13, came down to 10, then came down to 6. My starting A1C on Mounjaro so all of that 13 to 6 was with Ozempic. And then starting on Mounjaro, my A1C went from, it was at 5.9. My starting A1C on Mounjaro was 5.9. And I've been hanging in the 5.6 range since. There was one A1C that it was a random A1C. I was at a health fair and I was actually doing the health fair, and we were slow at that point. And so we did A1Cs on each other. And so that A1C came out to be 5.2. But I've been hanging at 5.6. Would I like to get lower? Yes, I would like to get lower. Now that I'm doing my injections every 14 days, it's going to be up to me to get that lowered. Incorporating the habits that I have been and just going a little harder and a little deeper, that will help me to get that A1C down. Am I okay with it? I am. I get my eyes checked for diabetic retinopathy, and we're okay. There's no damage in my retina and my blood vessels back there. I get my feet checked, my diabetic foot exam done, and everything is okay. No sensation lost in my feet. I also get my kidney function checked so that there's no concern for diabetic nephropathy, and that's done when I get my blood work done. We check my liver enzymes and my liver function, and recently I've had my thyroid checked, and all that came out normal. So with my A1C at 5.6, I'm okay. I would like it to be lower, and we're going to continue to work on that. But once I got on Mounjaro, my starting weight, like I said, was 191, and I have reached the goal that I set for myself. My doctor never set a weight loss goal for me. He never told me I need to be at this particular weight. He was always more concerned with my A1C. And I believe that's because what you're doing to lower your A1C will in turn help you with your weight loss. So my starting weight, like I said, was 191, and my goal for myself was I wanted to be under 160. So I reached that goal right after the new year. I was like, I did not meet my goal at the end of 2024, but we were okay. So I met my goal of being under 160. It was in January of 2024. And here we are in November, almost December. Well, December, might as well say, of 2024. And I sit at around 160 to 165. I do fluctuate back and forth. I am now monitoring my weight once a month, and my last weigh-in was on November 22nd, and I was at 165.2. So I was like, girl, we gotta reel it back in. So what I plan to do now is, we're in the holiday season, but I'm still going to be monitoring my intake. And I have never really been a big calorie counter person just because, oh, it's so hard to do. I know I am whining, I'm making excuses. No, but it is hard to do. It's hard to do. And to you that can do it on a daily basis, I applaud you. I definitely applaud you. There are some things that I might be able to do that others may not be able to do. And there are things that others can do that I can't do. And that's what makes our journeys unique. That's what makes this so individualized. And like I said, just take pieces from everybody. But I applaud you for counting your calories, because that's great. I do like to look at my calories and kind of eyeball it and say, okay, whoa, that's too much calories. I don't want to have a meal that has that much calories. Or I look at the carbs and be like, oh, that's too much carbs. I don't want a meal that has that much carbs in it. But I don't on a daily basis count my calories. But what I'm going to do is to ensure that I can stay under, I want to stay under 165. At January 1st, I want to be under 165. January 1st, 2025, right? So what I plan to do is just to continue to monitor my intake, because your diet is 80% of your health journey, is your diet. I've also set goals for myself with strength training, as well as trying to run a 5K. I've been working on that, and hopefully I will be able to run a 5K within the next month by the end of 2024. Side effects. I know everybody is concerned about side effects when they're on these GLP-1 medications, but like I said, I've been on these GLP-1 medications for over 4 years. What I would say is be in tune with your body. If you're noticing that you are overly nauseous, if you're, fatigued all the time, if you're constipating, you haven't gone in a long period of time, days without going, don't let it continue. Do something about it. So for me, when I first switched over to Mounjaro, I remember being nauseous after eating fatty foods. I would remember feeling like, why am I feeling like this? I feel like I can just go lay down and I just don't feel good. And then I think one of you commented and said it could be the fatty foods. And then I started to correlate. Oh, yes, I need to cut that out. I need to cut that back on that. I mean, I still have some fried foods every once in a while, but I need to cut back, right? So just pay attention to those side effects. Fatigue. I would always be fatigued the day after my injection. It's always, and I've come to work through that. Trying to get in a lot more protein the day of the injection, the day after the injection, making sure I'm hydrated and making sure I'm eating. That really has helped me with that fatigue with these medications. Constipation. I was constipated on Ozempic as well. I was not attributing it at first to Ozempic, but what I did different with Mounjaro is I use Miralax, I use stool softeners. There's other things that you can use. I have used the Smooth Move tea, just getting an extra fiber by eating your fruits and vegetables. Now what I'm using is Calm, so magnesium basically, and that is really helping me. I do that on a nightly basis every night, and that is really helping me with my bowel movements. Again, use the tips and the suggestions from everyone if it works for you. Because some people don't like drinking things. Some people don't like taking pills. Some people want to do it more the natural way, but do what works best for you. So those are my side effects that I've noticed, just the fatigue, the nauseous, and constipation. I do try to make sure I drink a lot of water. I need some now. Long-term use and maintenance. So I've been on it for 4 years. So am I going to do this long-term? Probably so. So I will continue. I thought, at one point I wanted to titrate off, but what I may do is just continue to do it every 2 weeks. And then if I can start stretching it further, then I will. And that will be my way of titrating off if I ever feel the need. But with my A1C at 5.6, I don't foresee that happening until I get my A1C probably in the 4s. I would be more comfortable if it's in the 4s and titrating off at that point. But I will continue to take it until that point. And then that leads us to maintenance. So I'm going to continue to maintain at the 7.5 milligram dose. That's going to be my little special little dose for the long haul. I don't see a need to go up to anything higher. I don't see a need to go any lower. I am great where I'm at right now, and I don't want to change anything up besides just being more cognizant and more in tune with what I'm eating, and just continuing to exercise the way I'm exercising, continuing to drink my water, and just continuing to incorporate those healthy habits that I have already put in place for myself. So what has it been like being on a GLP-1 for over 4 years now? Well, for one, it has really helped my blood sugars. These medications are great for people with diabetes, people who are having trouble with losing weight, and what's going on in their body metabolically that is interfering with them losing the weight. These medications are a game changer. They are expensive if your insurance does not cover them all the way, so just keep that in mind. But like I said, these medications are great, but use them as a tool to help you to get to where you want to get to. I would say and this is what has worked for me, but as I use these medications to help me along the way, I incorporate habits and live my life in a way that I would be able to still sustain this if my insurance stopped covering it and I have to pay a enormous out-of-pocket amount that would not be feasible in my life. I want to be able to continue to sustain this weight loss and sustain what I have done with my A1C. So from an A1C of 13 to now an A1C of 5.9, to from being as high as 220 pounds to now being 160, 165. Over the past 4 years, I have learned to do what's best for me, pour into myself, incorporate healthy habits that I can sustain, and to make myself a priority. They are wonderful for type 2 diabetes. They're wonderful for weight loss, but we have to do the work as well, and the work is doable. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. So this is my 2-year anniversary on Mounjaro. This is my 4-year anniversary on being on a GLP-1. And I'm going to continue on. Long term, yes, I'll be using it long term. Yes, I'll be using it to maintain where I'm at. Yes, I'll be continuing to put in my healthy habits. Yes, I'll be continuing to set goals for myself, to continue to motivate myself. Yes, I'm going to continue to do what is best for me. So we'll see what the next chapter, the next year looks like. And of course, I'll continue to update you guys on that and how my journey continues to look. I like to do vlogs, so if you're into that, definitely check out my next vlog that comes out. And if you're not into vlogs, you're more into the sit-down videos, I'll try to do more of those as well. But thank you always, guys, for joining me, supporting me, and just being on this journey with me. I appreciate you. I love you, and God bless.